What's up, y'all? This is Derek Stewart from the DC Stewart Show Podcast, featuring my kinfolk Isaiah. It is a Saturday night, and guess what? It's January 31st tonight. Tonight is the last night for the month of January. We're looking at staring February 1st in the face tomorrow. So I hope everybody's had a good day today and got off to a good start this morning and winding it down tonight. Because tomorrow is a new day, and you're gonna be doing things a new way. And you're going to be the judge in the courtroom. So that's all that matters. Once again, you're listening to the DC Stewart Show Podcast live. No scripts, no ESPN scripts, real talk and vibing. We're just vibing with some real stuff. We don't play around over here. And make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit that like button, because we're gaining some traction all over the place. We're currently streaming on YouTube. We're currently streaming on Facebook, and we should be over at TikTok right now. So for all of our fans and people who joining us, we love you to death. So let's get into this first particular topic, because this topic matters. And I think it's kind of like what we talked about. We had a show in August, and this show was surrounding Sha'Carri Richardson, superstar track runner, female track runner. She's all world, in my opinion. She's had a lot of ups and downs. Her career has been somewhat like a seesaw, but she got it together. She finally came back, and she ran with a vengeance. She didn't play around. She was always on that last leg on that 880 relay. Once they handed that baton off to her, she was road runner, technically. So it looks like Sha'Carri Richardson ran into some more legal issues over this past few days. It looks like she was on a freeway in Florida, in Central Florida, and she basically was speeding, and she blew past an Orange County sheriff's deputy, and it looks as though that, she didn't either see him or she just didn't even acknowledge him and pay attention. Because when I'm driving my car, wherever I'm driving my car, I'm always looking around for either marked cruisers or unmarked cruisers. Not that I'm doing anything wrong. It's just that my surroundings matter to me, especially if I'm traveling a little bit faster than usual. She technically, I guess she was clocked up to 110 miles an hour, allegedly, with an Aston Martin sport utility vehicle. Those things are just phenomenal. The performance on those vehicles are phenomenal. The horsepower in those vehicles are phenomenal. But those vehicles only do what you allow them to do. The vehicle is at your mercy. You make the decision on whether you got a lead foot or not. If you drive the regular speed limit, you go about your day or you go about your evening, there is no issues. But the way it looks like on a video cam, on the deputy's dash cam, and on the deputy's body cam, she blew past him like he wasn't even sitting there. She was hitting her high beams on other drivers to move out her effing way. And that's usually what can get you caught really quick. If you're flowing in the rest of the traffic and they're going over the speed limit, long as you stay within those parameters, you usually will be pretty safe. But when you are blowing through and you're hitting your high beam and tailgating people where you're up on them and you're telling them to get out of your way, look, she's a track star. She runs track. She's fast. She's driving a fast car, but it was a very dumb decision on what she did that day. So she got pulled over. The deputy kind of told her exactly what he witnessed, and he basically had to arrest her, because anytime you travel 20 miles an hour over the speed limit or 30 miles an hour over the speed limit in different states, because different states have different laws. However, with that said, she was going to jail, and she was trying to talk her way out of it. So let me ask you, Isaiah, Sha'Carri Richardson has been in trouble before. She had a big old domestic dispute with her boyfriend in Seattle-Tacoma International Airport. And what she's doing is not acceptable. She has to be accountable for her own actions. So tell us a little bit about what you think went down with her when she got pulled over and when she was trying to talk her way out of this thing.
Well, she did multiple things wrong outside of speeding. I mean, I know she's accustomed to speeding because she's a speedster herself, but then she tried to overtalk the officer, and that almost got him offended by it, and he had to tell her to relax and shut up pretty much to just so he can read her, the reason why he stopped her. And she just wouldn't let him talk. And she was trying to talk over him, fast talk him and everything. And he wasn't going for it because he knew he had to arrest her because she was going way over the speed limit. And it was a reckless driving is what it is when you go so far over the speed limit. And it's not just careless, it's reckless. And reckless is a arrestable offense. And she just tried to talk her way out of it. And he gave her an opportunity to make phone calls and do all the things that she can. He was a pretty professional officer, and I kind of, he really gave her every opportunity to speak about how the reason why she was driving that fast. And there was no reason to be driving that fast unless you have an extreme medical emergency or something of that sort. And then if that's the case, you still call the police department and say, well, listen, I got this going on. And it could have been documented and maybe she wouldn't have went to jail because the speed she was going, he had to do what he did to her. And I don't know why she felt the need to go so fast and almost clip people on the street as she drove. And the thing is, everything was recorded. So even though she tried to talk her way out of it, and just to think about the fact that he would have let her go driving that type of speed, even if he would recognize her and knowing that she's a celebrity and feel like he wanted to cut her a break and all this and just say, listen, slow down. That can't happen with that being recorded like that, because the guy's not losing his job or getting reprimanded or getting in trouble just because, she's a celebrity. He had to do his job, and that's what he did, and he arrested her. And I think that she needs to kind of tone down her behavior, man, in so many aspects of her life, because she got arrested at the airport for domestic with her boyfriend, which landed her in jail. And I'm so disappointed in her because I love the way she runs. I like her background. I like the things that she did to get to where she is right now. I love the fact that she overcame the crap that they jammed her on the weed. And plus, I think, if I'm not mistaken, her place where she ran initially is legal to smoke weed. And then of course, they jammed her in another state or something like that there, and ultimately jammed her where she couldn't even qualify to go into the Olympics. And I thought that was despicable for them to do her like that. But the rules are the rules, and she got to abide by them. In this case, I'm so disappointed because it's just the fact that I love her, and then you got to think about other kids that adore her as a performer on the track, because that's what she does. She performs on that track, man, and she just overcame so many obstacles. But then now it's the off the track type of stuff that's hindering her. And I don't want her to lose her endorsements because I want to see her grow in this sport. I want to see her to continue to get endorsements and make money and use her platform on a positive, not getting in trouble every time you turn around. She's in some kind of ordeal where she's in legal trouble. Yeah.
Okay, so it looks like she's had 2 arrests over the last 5 years. I mean, I don't see any more beyond that, nor does, to me, that stick out to me the most. It's just her decision-making process is what I'm questioning. Yeah. So you have a Aston Martin sport utility vehicle. Generally speaking, those type of vehicles, they build them to perform. I mean, it's a high-performance vehicle. It's a very upscale type of vehicle. And it's about a 700 horsepower car. Now, I'm adding this context in there because a lot of times when you're driving a high performance vehicle with a lot of power to it, it tends to, you can feel like you're levitating and you're going so fast. I know I drive a vehicle not as nice as that one, but I look up sometimes and I'm running at 80 and it's climbing. I mean, it's climbing and I have to grab myself and take my foot up off the accelerator pedal, because if I don't, I'm pushing 100. So it looks like, technically speaking, she was pulled over and the speeds were clocked at 104 miles an hour, according to this information, in a 60 mile an hour speed zone. So you do the math with that.
You're going to jail.
You're going to jail.
You're going to jail, DC. And the thing that really got her in trouble more than just the speeding part is the aggressive type of driving. You can startle a person. If you come behind somebody, flashing your lights, blowing the horn, you can startle an old lady, and that can transcend to a nasty accident because you're talking about being on the expressway when you're not the only one out there. What's wrong with you? You're not the only driver out there, and then you got people that just barely know how to drive, and then you come behind them running 100 miles an hour, flashing your lights and going from lane to lane, and the guy did exactly what he needed to do because she need to be taught a lesson for that, because next time it might not fare so easy when you just go to jail or get a ticket. You might fool around and cause an accident and get killed, man. And that's
or
the
kill
thing
some
that I
other
want.
people. You kill
Yes.
people around you.
Yes.
So
Yes.
when you're thinking about yourself, you most of the time you need to be thinking about your surroundings and what's around you, because
Yeah.
people who are driving their vehicles, they're minding their business, they're going about their day or their evening or their night. They don't expect for you to be running at a speed where you're putting their life at risk, and that's why it's a jailable offense in most states. I mean, generally all states. But when you get caught doing that kind of speed, that's a deadly speed. In other
Yeah.
words, the trajectory of how a vehicle moves when you lose control of a vehicle, or when you hit objects that's sitting still at that kind of speed, is just no way you're going to survive it. It's no
Well,
way the other person is going to survive it if you strike their vehicle.
yeah.
Because go ahead.
What I was getting ready to say, DC, that's the reason why even when they use these cars throughout the manufacturer, they would use crash dummies to show you what happened to you at that certain rate of speed. And you talking about 100 miles an hour to a complete stop, you dead, man. It ain't no car gonna withstand that type of collision. So you imagine if you hit somebody and from the side, or you
Or if
hit
you clip
somebody in
them
the
on the rear end.
rear,
If you clip
it
them on the
pushes
rear
them
end, I've
somewhere
seen
else
that
and turn
happen.
them over. Yeah, it's so many things can happen, and I just want her to learn a lesson. You know, the jail stuff. Yeah, you gotta wiggle your way out of that, get you some attorneys and all that type of stuff, but the mindset of it is the thing got to change. Going to jail and you can bond your way out and then you free and then you fight the thing later. The fact is, don't do it, because what happened is you might not get a next time for you to go to jail and get a citation for speeding. That right there
Exactly.
is a shame to think that you know better. She got to know better. Everybody should know better, to be honest. And you want to race a car, go take it on the track. They got tracks for you to go out there and blaze your speed like that and open up your valves and have a good time with a car like that. But not on the street where you got all of these folks on there who barely know how to drive. And Orange County is congested most of the time. That county has grown so much and is congested there, and you trying to wiggle your way and maneuver your way through all of these people who's trying to get to where they're going, and you fool around and get in an accident. It's not going to set pretty if you hit somebody running that fast.
And
Yeah.
the way they build these vehicles now, with the materials that they build them with. When we were growing up as children, they built with metal. They built with more of a heavier metal for these
Yeah.
cars and trucks and things, or pickup trucks or whatever sport utility vehicles. We didn't even have them back then. We had like either station wagons, or we had sedans, big family
Yeah.
type of sedans. We didn't have these sport utility vehicles. A sport utility vehicle is technically a car built to service both. Similar to a station wagon, you have room in the back of it to be able to have storage space and things like that. And the reason I'm going into this context is because the type of vehicles that we drive in the modern world right now are not really built to go as fast as you think it could go, even at a track. Because one thing is for sure, once that wind gets up under your vehicle, it could lift your vehicle. I've seen it happen firsthand on tracks where you're going down a straightaway, the wind gets up under the vehicle, it takes it off the ground, and then there you go, you're rolling. I mean, and when you start rolling, God forbid that you don't have your seatbelt on, because you're going to be ejected from it. But even if you do have your seatbelt on, it's not survivable. You're not going, because usually the ceiling of the vehicle is crushed in. Once you roll over a few times, usually they need the jaws of life to get you out of it. So let's get back to Sha'Carri Richardson and her decision-making process. Her decision-making process has been not good twice because she got into that spat with her boyfriend, Christian Coleman, in that airport back in August. And that was an arrestable offense. She ended up getting charged with that. And now she's getting charged with a speeding ticket. So the question is, when is she going to come to her senses, Isaiah?
Well, she's got to, man, because it's going to hurt her in the long run. Because, anytime you get endorsements and people start looking for you to, patronize for people to patronize business because you endorse them, they start to run the other way when you start bringing negative publicity to them. And that's what I don't want to happen to her, man, because I think she bumped her head when she got jammed with the weed, and it was a nasty setback for her, man, because she had to sit out when she really had an opportunity to progress then, but to have to sit out those events and had to go through rehab and all this type of stuff and overcome that stuff, and there was so many people ran to her defense. I spoke so highly of her at that time. And then you had a lot of celebrities like the Tyler Perrys and all that stuff, embraced her and you let her know everything was going to be okay. And she came back blazing, dog. She came back smoking everybody. And I was like, wow, she's back. But then you got this other off the track type of behavior where she's got to harness that stuff, man. She's got to sit down and reevaluate her thought process because it can dog her out later on, man, because I don't like to see folks go at the rate they're in to get highly publicity, get all the publicity that you can imagine. You acquire that by your talent, and then to lose that with nasty decisions that you're making. I mean, stuff that's not professional. You got to look at it like when you walk out that door, somebody's watching you. And when you get in trouble, somebody's going to say, okay, well, enough is enough. And let me, back up from her because she can't stay out of trouble. I don't want her to get in that realm, man, because there's just too many young kids who think that they can't make it, but them say, damn, Sha'Carri made it. She used to smoke weed. She did this. She lived in this place. I seen how her grandma and her relatives used to always come support her at the track meets. And that can inspire somebody who's going through those turmoils or these roller coasters part of life and then think they can't make it. But they could look at her situation and say, wow, she did it. I could do it. But then when you start getting in trouble like this, it kind of tarnishes all the good things that you've done in your life. And that's what I kind of want her to kind of get herself in order where she don't have to go through that, man, because it's coming. You continue to get these type of allegations, and well, some of it is allegation with the thing at the airport. And then, of course, you speeding where you're on tape. And you can't back away from that because the officer was clocking her and talking about it as he filmed her. So it's just a thing that she's got to learn. She's got to learn not to drive aggressive like that. And then when you get pissed off, learn how to turn the cheek and walk the other way without beating somebody down, or whether it's your boyfriend or somebody in the street. Because now when people realize that something could tick you off, they're going to try to tick you off where they can get a payday out of you, girl. So I'm telling you straight up, Sha'Carri Richardson, you got to harness this because somebody going to walk up in your face and say, oh, you jailbird, and then you're going to get pissed off and you're going to want to put some knuckles on them, and then they're going to sue you. So understand it's coming. People love to kind of get a celebrity boxed in where they can,
they like to instigate,
get the money out of you. So watch it. You got to watch it.
You have to be really careful with that. So my next question to you is, do you think Shaq can talk to her?
Well, Shaq can. Shaq is a guy who can reach people like that, and that's what I adore about Shaq. Do things like that. He's such a good guy, and he know how to resonate with folks who's going through things because he's been there before himself. He's been there where he had these bad things happen to him, or he thought that he wasn't going to make it, and he had a father who taught him the ropes and guided him and led him to where he is. And it's things that Shaq did about a couple months ago. I was reading where it was a girl who used to wrestle or box, or she was in some type of sport. I forgot what the sport was, but she had a job too, and she was catching a bus and catching Uber and all that. And Shaq bought her a brand new car, and I was like, wow, man, it's so great for him to have the resources to be able to do that, because that girl hadn't made it to where Sha'Carri was. She's trying to get there. And now by him giving her a car, that took a lot of strain off of her. And so she don't have to work hard to get a job to pay for transportation. Now he's got a transportation. All she got to do is participate in her sport. And one thing that I loved about what Shaq said, he said, hey, listen, I'm going to give you this car, but do me one favor. Stay away from the boys. Because he figured they're going to get her in trouble. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so here's the next thing that happened during this traffic stop, because like you say, the officer was really professional. I thought that he was very calm. He was polite in terms of how he was explaining to her that she's going to jail.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's no easy way to tell someone they're going to be placed under arrest. You just either say it, it depends on the tone of voice, I think. However, I thought when he was, speaking with her, I thought she was digging herself further in the hole by some of the things that she brought up during that conversation. That, there was allegedly, she said that, well, one of my tires was given
that made it worse, DC.
Was concerning to her.
That made it worse too.
He immediately responded and said that, look, I mean, if you got a tire issue, why would you go that fast? I mean, common sense should tell you that, and she just went on and on and on trying to convince this officer not to take her, because she just said, look, just go ahead and write me the ticket. But see, most people don't understand, when you're traveling that fast, it's not your call anymore, right? If you were going 5 mile or 10 mile or, a little bit more over the speed limit and they caught you, it's always not an arrestable offense. So you could say, look, just give me the ticket and I'll go on by my business, right? Is that usually how it works? At least from my perspective.
Well, the rate of speed she was going, she left him no way but to arrest her. He couldn't give her any kind of leniency. He had to do what he did to do his job correctly, man. Because who's going to go back to the precinct or to the office and say, "Oh, I had Sha'Carri. She was running 100 miles an hour. Did you arrest her?" Oh man, you think this guy gonna lose his job, or even get somebody to question his decision to not arrest her for going that fast? Because most of the time, I'm not saying it hurt, but most of the time, when you let somebody off going that fast, they don't learn their damn lesson. They go right back and do it again. Now that jail time would teach them a lesson. That's what it's about.
That's why they make it that way. That jail time tends to kind of open people's eyes up in a way to say, look, I mean,
that's the seriousness
I don't want to go back
of it.
there. I don't want to have to go back.
That shows you the seriousness of it. That shows you the seriousness of it, man, because that rate of speed also show a person the severity of the damage it could be if you fool around and get in a collision. It's like everything is total. Your life could be total, and the cars are going to be total at that rate of speed. You clip somebody, you hit somebody going that rate of speed, is going to be some severe damage. And that's what it's all about. You got to teach these folks a lesson when they're driving that fast, because otherwise you'll fool around and kill somebody, man. And that's the thing that is all about, is safety when you're traveling on the roads, man. Who want to go out there and get killed? You want to go home safely when you're traveling. Yeah.
Well, here's another thing too. So let's move on to the next level of what happened at the scene when Sha'Carri Richardson was pulled over. Obviously, her boyfriend Christian Coleman showed up. She obviously contacted him somehow, some way. Probably when she first got stopped, she probably called him and told him.
Well, the officer gave her an opportunity to call whoever she needed.
And he did give her an opportunity, because I did hear that in the video. It's public record right now, and it's on the internet. Moving around the internet. So he shows up, and according to police records, he wouldn't cooperate when they asked him to return to his car. So here's what I got a problem with Christian Coleman with. When you show up to a scene to defend, whether it's your wife, whether it's your girlfriend, whether it's a very close friend, or anyone under that type of situation when the police got them pulled over. When the police is conducting, and I consider them conducting an investigation when they do have you pulled over, because they are assessing all of the things that are going on with what the allegations were and what they actually witnessed you did based on what the law says. So whenever someone, and let me give everybody a piece of advice right now. If you got a loved one and they've been pulled over and they call for help, look, come to me now. I need some help because this cop's got me pulled over and I'm really concerned or I'm scared or whatever the case may be. If you do show up, you cooperate with the police officers. And more than likely, 9 times out of 10, they're not going to let you approach the car and start asking questions about what they're doing, correct?
Well, I commend that officer for allowing her to make that call because he didn't have to do that. But then for him to show up and not comply to his orders once he got there, that's rude, first off. And then he can also wind up getting jailed himself if he don't want to comply because it's still an investigation because then the guy can feel threatened. It could be so many other things that can happen with the presence of someone else coming there. So you just got to remain on a professional level and abide in the orders that he give you because otherwise it makes things worse for her because she's already going to jail for speeding. One thing I would have thought that could have happened in that case where she could have called somebody, 2 people could have showed up, they could wind up taking her car as opposed to letting them impound her car. So that's what I was thinking that should have happened. Where now you don't have to go to the point of getting your car out of the pound. So he came there and he went to acting a crazy man and then he got arrested too, is what you're saying?
According to the article that I just read, they say he parked on a limited shoulder. Technically, it's a limited access roadway shoulder. Because, on a lot of those expressways, they call them expressways in Florida. They call them freeways out here in California. There's not a lot of space for you to pull over to get off the road. And it's kind of a dangerous situation. When the police stop you in certain conditions, they won't even approach your car from the driver's side. They approach it from the passenger side. I know that's a CHP policy here in California. They don't approach your driver's side. They walk around to your passenger side.
Because so many officers got
many officers have gotten hit or they've gotten killed or they've been injured.
Yep.
So with that said, Christian Coleman should have complied. He should have complied and say, look, officer, what's going to happen to her? If you ask them that, they probably going to tell you what's getting ready to happen, right? So you ask them what's getting ready to happen, and then you ask them questions. Look, can I take her car? I'm here. Yeah. I'll try to have someone come back with me to take her car. If you showed up with someone in the car, we don't want her car impounded. That's what I would have tried to handle it from that perspective, right?
Yeah, it's 2 ways that can happen. Also, he might have taken it for evidence to say that this is what she said that was wrong with the tire and all this type of stuff. But I think he may have let her get someone to take the car because otherwise he wouldn't even ask her, did allow her to call someone to come up. Even if he was taking her to jail, DC, he showed up by himself. He could have made another phone call and said, listen, Sha'Carri is going to jail. I'm here with her car. Can you bring somebody to drive her car back or drive my car back and I'll take her car? That way you could have got the car out of the shoulder of the road. She would have went to jail. You go later on, bail her out, and then you guys can go about your day. But for him to get there and act like a nutcase and then get arrested too, it just escalated everything, man, and it didn't look good. And now all of it looks silly because you got 2 for 1. You got 1 officer going to arrest 2 of them, man, and that's so stupid, man, when you don't comply. And that's what happens most of the time when you think this misfit or somebody gets shot when you don't comply. Whatever it is, comply. and then you work your way in court and settle the differences later. But you don't comply, you get shot, you get killed, anything can happen when you don't comply. Comply, worry about the rest of the stuff later. You can work it out in court, and you can either, if you have to sue them, do whatever you do, but comply first, and that settles everything. You can't say you resist arrest. You can't say this. You can't be brought on any charges, any of that stuff, if you just comply. That's the simplest way to put it.
Yeah. And thinking back on that, when Tyreek Hill was pulled over by Miami-Dade police, there were several other Miami Dolphins players
did not
showed
comply,
up.
DC. Did not comply. He did not comply at all.
With Kalis Campbell. Kalis Campbell is
I'm saying the Tyreek didn't comply.
No,
That's
I'm
why
talking
he got
about
arrested.
people who showed up to for his well-being. I'm not talking about Tyreek Hill.
Of course.
I'm talking about the people who showed up. Kalis Campbell said that he was concerned, and the police told him to step back and get out of the way, and he did what he was told. He didn't stay right where he was. He backed up. So with Christian Coleman showing up like he did, he really didn't help the situation.
He didn't have the matter at all. No, he did not. He escalated it.
And when he escalated it, it only caused a bigger scene, and it caused more attention to come to it, because you got two for one technically. And when you don't do what the police or law enforcement tells you to do, and most of the time it's police officers, it could be federal, state, or local, or however, if you don't follow those orders, you're going to possibly go to jail. Let me repeat, you're possibly going to be arrested, booked, and hauled off to jail, and you're going to have to post bond, and it's a pain in the butt for anyone to have to deal with all of that. I know even Sha'Carri Richardson. So now let's go ahead.
DC, he probably came there trying to keep it real and protect his woman.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. I don't mind.
No. What I'm saying, the protection of the woman is to protect your senses, man. You got to make sense. You can't go in there acting stupid and not comply. That means now you jam with her. Now you guys both got to try to wiggle your way out of charges. It's just dumb. It's just dumb. Now both of them going to show up for court instead of him going and supporting her in the court of law for the traffic violation. Now he's got a different charge than her.
Yeah, absolutely. And both of them are charges. I don't think that's going to cause any major problems with them. In terms of, I would say my next question was going to ask you, do you think this is going to impact her sponsorships and then all of this? Because she's sponsored by Nike, because I've seen her on Nike commercials before, but she's got several other big ones. Beats earphones. I mean, she's got quite a few sponsors.
Nice sponsors, man. But most of her sponsorship is targeted at young folks, and that's what I'm saying, DC, and the fact that these young people admire her, and that's why I want her to get on track and get herself together, because these are the ones that's looking up to her, and this is the target of people who her sponsors trying to get. They're trying to get this money from these younger people who admire her. So if these people are going to look up to her and look at her track record as being an athlete and want to be like her, and whatever she wears, they want to patronize that business, But if she's getting in trouble, that defeat the purpose of those endorsements. And that's why a lot of times when you start getting in trouble and have this bad publicity, these sponsors run away the other way, because they don't want that negativity tied to their brand. And so that's the reason why I keep reiterating the fact that I just hope she get on track, because those people will start running away. I've seen it happen with Tiger Woods, the best of the best. Sponsorship took off the other way. Other way. Only a couple of his sponsors stayed there with him throughout when he got in those pieces of trouble, whether it was the getting in an accident that time or the domestic with his wife clubbed him with the golf club, allegedly, and he ran into a tree. Yeah.
So I pulled up her sponsorships here, some of them, and she's secured deals with some major brands. Oikos yogurt, you see that on the shelf in the grocery store. Beats by Dre, Android, Sprite,
Oh,
and a
yeah, she got
recent
some great ones.
campaign with Skims. And I don't
Oh,
even
she's
know what
got really
Skims.
nice ones. Yeah, but those other ones are big time, man. Those are major
Right.
brands.
Right. So she's earning incomes, and let me just explain how it works. When you sign endorsement contracts with
Those are
these
millions of
companies
dollars.
expect for the highest of moral character when you're
Yeah.
sponsoring their products.
Hmm.
They don't expect for you to be running afoul with the law or
Yeah.
anything of that
Hmm.
nature, because
Those are
what
one of the ways
happens
you can
is you
breach those
drag their
contracts, DC.
name into
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
when in their brand, which is their company, their brand, you drag their name into this, and it's not very positive, if I'm can say that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course. They don't want to be linked to something that, that's negative. That's one of the things that people do not want to attach themselves to negativity. They want something positive. They want something shiny. They want something to be a beautiful situation where folks could patronize their business. I mean, I remember as a kid when Bill Cosby used to do the Jello pudding and stuff like that. Man, every kid wanted that Jello pudding. They
That's
no
right.
matter whether it was the vanilla or the chocolate, and he
I
used to
told
make
my
the little
grandmother to get me
crazy
some Jello
faces.
pudding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Yeah,
Yes.
and he had that endorsement for years and years and years. And we all, as a kid, thought it was his stuff, but he was being endorsed by Jello. Yeah,
So let me just speak directly to Sha'Carri Richardson. Look, girl, you got everything. You got the world in your hands. You're talented. You're a track star. You're attractive. A lot of things for the good is going on in your life. And I know you have people dependent on you, your family, who knows, friends, or whoever else. These people
yeah,
rely heavily upon you to carry the torch of morality and to behave professionally when you're out away from track, because they
yeah.
know how to run. They know how to really win races when it comes to winning track races. But
Hmm.
if you can't function outside of all of that, that can be a potential big problem. So I would hope that this is a lesson learned. And if you get back in a vehicle, do not go above the speed limit to the level that you went to when you got arrested, because you can beg all you want. You can plead, look, don't arrest me, let me go. But once again, when you do something like that, it's not your call, it's out of your hands. So I'll close saying those things because I would like to see Sha'Carri Richardson continue down the road of success
Yeah,
and kind of set a record in a legacy in women's track, to the point that I would say that would distance herself from a lot of other track stars that's still around or that's been around in the past, if that makes sense.
yeah. I
Yeah.
agree, DC. And like I said before, I know folks are watching her, and little bitty kids who just starting out in the sport, looking at her and they admiring her. I've seen it with Jackie Joyner Kersey years ago
I
when
remember
little
Jackie Joyner
girls used
Kersey,
to look
Martha
at
Brooks
her and
Joyner.
yes, they all
Yeah.
admired those people, and I seen them grow to be just like them. And you the same way. They're looking at you, so make sure you think back and say, "Wow, I don't want these little kids to get in trouble. I don't want these kids to look at me and see me and me be the face of a pair of handcuffs." That ain't what it need to be. A mugshot. That ain't what it need to be. You need to stay focused on your success, your endorsements, your beauty, all of this stuff. You do that and keep that going. Don't go to jail and have this domestic stuff and be going through these trials, because you know the haters, they loving this stuff. The ones you smoking
Oh,
out there,
people who don't
all
want to
those
see
ones
you
you smoking,
succeed,
they're
sure,
loving
they
this
love it.
girl, and don't give them the opportunity to say what they're saying, the negativity. Don't forget them. You do your thing and go out there and keep smoking these people on that track, and make sure you make better decisions. That's what's going on need to happen with you.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah,
Well stated, Isaiah. Let's move on to Tank Davis, Gervonta Tank Davis,
yeah,
champion boxer, um, talented boxer. I mean, he was one of the best in his weight class. and it looks like he's another athlete, professional athlete that has run afoul of the law, according to what I've read over the last 3 weeks. Because supposedly here he was arrested just recently in Miami after weeks searching for him, based on information that at least alleged that he did some things to some girls or women that caused for him to be arrested. Do you know anything beyond the fact that he was on the run, according to some of the reports that I was reading? And I guess he had one incident at a gentleman's club. At least it says here he had one incident at a gentleman's club. Civil lawsuits have already been lobbed at him, of course. What do you think these athletes, especially even boxers, because they're not excluded from any professional athletic particular situation, where if they're behaving off the field or outside of the ring, is still equally as important as they behave outside of the ring, better than they did inside of the ring? Wouldn't you say so?
Yeah, man. When these guys are getting in the spotlight, with your even if you have your entourage with you, you gotta have someone who hanging around you who know how to behave themselves, man. Because people gotta realize that there is always someone trying to intrigue you into something where you were getting a fight with him. In his case, he had some stuff where he got into it with some girl, and he was a fugitive, man. They was looking for him for a while and finding in the stores where he was shopping, and they always had cameras of places where he was, and they would miss him, and then they finally caught up with him and locked his behind up. But man, I don't understand how you can work your way to a degree where you're rich, man. You can do whatever you want. You can drive whatever you want. You can live wherever you want, and you can't stay out of damn trouble. I can't understand it. DC, you imagine a young person who grew up in the projects, man, where it's pissy, it's funky, it's busted glass all over the place, and it's just turmoil. Your neighbors are living in the same impoverished condition as you, and you can get an opportunity to parlay your way there and look back and living in a place where you have enough money to stay on an island. But you can't stay out of damn jail. I don't understand it. I just do not understand it, man. This is an opportunity where you can have generational wealth, where your kids, their kids, nobody ever have to go out there and look for a damn job, where you got to be listening to somebody say. It just irks me to see people just blow opportunities to be successful and just conduct themselves like professionals and not wind up in the system, man. The system has got something for all of these people who don't know how to act right, man. It's got
hey, listen, they call the system act right.
Yeah.
They ask you, do you want some act right? And if you want some act right, they got a place for you, right? Yeah.
Oh, man.
It's easy to go about some act right. Sure.
All the things that I was saying, this guy was caught doing. He was shopping. He was enjoying himself. He was enjoying the fact that he's got money. He's going to the booty shake clubs, having a good time. And then all of a sudden he get arrested because he had some kind of rule he had broke, or law he broke, and they came and got him. So it's just, damn, I can't believe these people, man. Yeah.
So according to this, basically, he's in custody after a warrant was issued for his arrest from a complaint. It looks like authorities say a video did corroborate some of the things that was in the complaint. Some of the complaint itself was corroborated by video. Technically, we're not here to convict Tank Davis from this situation. We don't know what happened, but what we do know is it's a real complaint. It's a real complaint out there. And usually when you get a real complaint, there has to be some validity to some of it, because the person who filed a complaint against you, why would they just go out of their way when you have done nothing to them out of the blue and just file a complaint against you? That's what I'm trying to get at when it comes to that. One thing is he needs to understand that no matter where you go, no matter how much money you got, because he's made a good living for himself, according to what I just read. It's got him listed at 10 million for net worth. I mean, different websites, they say different net worth, but it's got him listed at that. So he's made a good career out of what he's doing, but all of that can go up in smoke within seconds. I mean, all of that money could go poof.
Yeah.
And you're right.
The legal fees alone can break them, DC. The legal fees alone can break a $10 million man, because some of these lawyers are charging thousands of dollars an hour to defend you.
$5,000 an hour. Mark Garagos and all of those guys, and the other lawyer, the celebrity lawyers. They got celebrity lawyers, quite a few of them, but I know Mark Garagos is the most notable one. And Garagos charges tens of thousands of dollars sometimes to defend these celebrities. And a lot of celebrities go to him because he's a very formidable defensive lawyer, right? You want the best of the best defending. You gotta
have the best of the best, man.
He's gonna lighten your pocket up. He's gonna lighten up your pocket for sure.
Yeah,
you got enough sitting there to be able to accommodate, because if you don't, you're gonna have to go for a lawyer that charges less, I would say.
And then your potential chance of getting locked up is greater too. So
exactly,
you go with those cheap lawyers if you want to. Yeah,
it's a risk reward to that. That look, if I spend $5,000 an hour, and I'm in a situation where I got a court date or it's dragging on, because usually court dates for, I would say within 30 days, they usually have a lot of these cases wrapped up. But let's just say, give or take, it takes longer, and these people are charging you that amount of money. Your bank account is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Some people got the money just sitting there to fight it, but when you're fighting against the system has unlimited resources. Just keep that in mind up here. When the system, whether it's the state, the county, the feds, or any other entity,
the federal definitely have unlimited resources. Some of those little small municipalities might be strapped for cash, but when you deal with the feds, they got unlimited amount of cash.
And it depends on which state. The state like California, unlimited resources. If they want to get you and they got evidence to get you, they'll just keep coming at you relentlessly. They don't fool around with that. So hopefully this would be a lesson learned for Gervonta Tank Davis, because his name has been in the news for fighting Jake Paul. I mean, I thought it was a joke when they got together and was talking about these two guys fighting. Jake Paul is kind of a cruiserweight in his weight class, and Tank Davis is a middleweight or a lightweight. I don't know what his exact weight class is, but it seemed to me like it was a mismatch, but that kind of died out pretty much. But he was on the run, so he probably going to be charged with that too. That he didn't turn himself in a lot earlier, because they hit you with all kind of charges for sure. Yeah,
one thing that people fail to realize too, amongst those charges, DC, a lot of these municipalities that make you pay for those man hours to look for your body.
Absolutely,
you have to pay for those off-duty man hours and those times when they had to chase you down, and you had to pay for that stuff, man.
Exactly.
They just don't know that. And that could be millions of dollars too, man.
Absolutely. Yep. So we wish you the best, Tank. We hope you can get everything together and put everything back together. And next time, just stay focused. No matter, I'm not telling you not to go to booty shake clubs. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You go into booty shake clubs, you behave like a decent citizen, you be fine. I mean, you don't let people instigate or start nothing with you, because once they know who you are, Isaiah just stated that there could be potential people to try to start things with you. But if that's the case, you get up and you walk out and leave that alone. You don't get pulled into these type of situations where people are setting you up for the okie doke to sue you, because they know you got money. And when they know you got money and resources, people do pick a bone with you. Let me give you an example. Marcus Freeman, the head coach of Notre Dame. His son was at a wrestling match before, participating in a wrestling match. Marcus Freeman's son wrestled. And at that wrestling match, allegedly a coach from an opposing team struck up some nonsense, according to what I was reading. And Marcus Freeman, he's accusing Marcus Freeman of making physical contact with him. So just remember those things can happen. Just always remember that.
Yeah.
So let's move on to some really good news, and I'm really happy about it. You are currently listening to the DC Stewart Show Podcast live, along with McKinfolk Isaiah. McKinfolk Najee, he'll be back on Monday. No ESPN scripts, real talk, real vibing, and just make sure you keep clicking that like button and that subscribe button, because we gonna keep bringing this smoke. We bringing it to you. So let's move on to this good news, and we got Darian Mensah, superstar quarterback from Duke University, is joining the University of Miami.
Man, I can't wait to
the University of Miami. Let me just say this personally, Darian. Welcome to the University of Miami.
This is going to be his home.
This is home for you. The city of Miami welcomes you with open arms. The 305. You're a 305 guy now. And we're happy that you made that decision to make such a big step, because we know there were some obstacles in your way. There were some obstacles in Darian Mensah's way that Duke set up an NIL contract. And I think a lot of other schools are going to be doing the same thing, because they're trying to slow down this movement. They're trying to slow down this flow of an athlete coming in one year, gone the next. So they're designing their these schools' legal departments are designing very, very really tight contracts to pin down athletes trying to get in there and get out. Am I right, Isaiah?
Yeah, they trying to cover their investment, because you get in there and they give you a couple bucks and that's their investment, they think. But it didn't work this time with Duke. A judge ordered them to release him and let him come on down here to the U. And we're going to make use of him. He's going to be a useful addition to this team, man. And I can't wait. And with his type of talent, man, I just can't wait. They're going to deal these defense some misery. I've watched him along with this deadly receiver that's coming down with him, too. These guys, man, it's like a sewing machine. They so sufficient, going up and down that field, throwing that ball, and he can run like a gazelle. So he's got that Michael Vick type of arm, and he got those Michael Vick type of elusive legs. And, man, imagine with our backfield and these receivers that you have, is some teams going to be in some trouble. I just can't wait to play Notre Dame next year now, because they were talking all of that crap about being in the playoffs, and they didn't make it, and we went on to a national championship and came out a little short. But I think we're going to get there again this coming up season. Yep.
Okay, so let me first of all, the young man who accompanied Darian Mensah is Cooper Bark.
Yeah.
That's how you pronounce it. I had to pull it up because it rhymes with skate and plate. Barcade.
Yeah, I thought about the Barcades. The group of Barcades.
That's a great one.
That's what I kind of got his name from.
That's one of my favorite groups.
Mm-hmm.
So Cooper Barcade is a star receiver. I mean, I saw some of the highlights of him and Mensah hooking up against multiple different
connection
teams.
is crazy.
I was just so freaking impressed, Isaiah, with these two guys, mainly Mensah, because Mensah, he's just, to me, he's an exceptional athlete.
Real polished quarterback, man.
Being a quarterback, right?
Yes.
So with these two guys joining the University of Miami, and you got Mark Fletcher Jr. coming back, you got Malachi Tony, CJ Daniels.
That Shannon Dawson gonna dial up with these guys.
All of those plays on offense. It's going to be pretty dangerous. Now, let's get into a little bit more context about how Mensah was able to get released from that contract. A judge didn't just release him from that contract. It was
It was some
according to
money had
what
to be spent too now.
exactly. There you go. So what happened was, and you predicted this. Remember, 3 shows
Of course
ago,
I
you
did.
predicted
Yes.
that
I
either the
told you.
University of Miami was going to have to step up and make that $5 million
Mhm.
difference deficit, because
Yep.
technically, I think it was a $5 million deficit that was hanging over
Hmm.
that
Just hanging there.
negotiation.
Yeah. Yep.
And I'm not going to make any assessments on what I perceived happened, but what I think happened is Duke basically laid it all down in front of Mensah and said, "Look, if you could cover this money right here, we'll consider letting you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
How are you going to get that done?" I'm pretty
Hmm.
sure if some people at Miami stepped in and said, "Look, don't worry about that. We
Got
got
that
this
handled.
for you."
Hmm.
Now, that is not actual fact because I don't have all the details, and supposedly some of
The fact
the
is, yeah.
negotiations are still sealed. They didn't talk about what was actually done in the sense of him getting released from that contract.
Well, that stuff they don't worked out, DC. Maybe we don't know about it, but he's here. He's been down in South Beach hanging out with Edrin James and the crew down there eating at Prime 112, and they whining and dining, and we got him here, and he's here. All the stuff that you talking about, all that wiggling behind the scenes stuff, been done behind the scenes, man. This guy is here. Whatever monies that was paid is already taken care of. That fine print stuff you talking about, we don't know what's going on in that
And
background,
we
but
don't
what we
really
do
technically
know,
need to know as long as it got
no,
done. That's all
it's
that
done.
matters to me.
It's done. It's
It got
definitely
done.
done.
And that's the
Yeah.
key right there. So
Listen, man, I just felt like it was going to get done. When it was just a money issue, that stuff got done because right now, that's all that's stopping anybody from maneuvering. It's just a money situation, man. You've seen that with Harbaugh just get a $20 million. Either somebody willing to pay it or they're not. It's as simple as that. If you're willing to pay it, I'm staying. If you not willing to pay it, because it's all about them spending money, man. This is what all of this stuff is about. Yep. And the University of Miami, I'm so proud of them, man. It's unbelievable how proud I am of them being able to compete financially. Because years ago, University of Miami couldn't compete financially because they're a small school. Like these big old schools, University of Miami couldn't compete with them at
well, they
all. Not
competing now
financially.
because they
Of
have the
course they are.
resources and the necessary
Yep.
things that they need, the necessary
Hmm.
more so of
Boosters in the
anything,
whole nine. Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
Money
Yep.
talks,
And
BS
BS take
walks.
a walk.
Yeah, money talks, BS walks. And as I said before, we've talked about this over and over again. The one thing that makes a difference is the rich is going to get richer, and these schools that don't have any money and resources,
They gonna
they're
be,
gonna be
man,
down at the
assed
bottom,
out.
feeding off the bottom,
They gonna be
scrapping.
assed out, DC. They gonna be
Yeah.
assed out.
Yes. So let
Telling
me
you,
give you a
dude.
little bit of details about Cooper Barcade. He's from Newport Beach, California, which is right up the road from here. The Freebird Tony is right up the road from Newport Beach. And by the way, we welcome Freebird Tony if he's joined us tonight. And we're glad to have you aboard. As always, we talked earlier today. So Cooper Barcade had 72 receptions for 1,106 yards, which was ninth in ACC. 7 TDs on average. He caught passes for about 16 yards per catch. Impressive, of course. And for him to join forces and just say, "Look, I'm going to the U. We're taking our talents to the U." That was a
Hmm.
big step on his part, right?
Yeah.
So Darian Mensah is from San Luis Obispo, California. San Luis Obispo has a football team. I mean, the Cal State University San Luis Obispo is a school. They played Northridge back in the 90s. I'm very familiar with that school. Central California, very central toward the coast of California. Technically, he went to Santa Maria High School. Santa Maria is a city up the coastline going toward the north in Central California. He was a superstar in high school. Last year, he threw for 3,973 yards at Duke, 34 TDs, 6 interceptions, 77% QBR. But Duke had a lot of different, intricacies of how they ran their offense. So he didn't get utilized like he will be at Miami. He's going to be utilized to the fullest at Miami.
Yeah.
And the good thing about utilization at Miami is he's going to have that offensive line to be there to block for him.
Oh man, he got them big old bulls up there in the front, man. They gonna protect him. And what I like about him, even if he get challenged and somebody penetrate that backfield, he know how to take off running, DC. And that's what's gonna be deadly about this, man. Shannon Dawson gonna have that playbook wide open for him to be able to hit those receivers and drop passes off to the running backs out of the backfield. That playbook gonna be so widespread, man. I'm telling you, the defense is going to be in some serious trouble with all this talent Miami have on both sides of this ball.
So will he be the highest paid player in the history of NIL right now? Do you think so? Do you know?
He's right at the top. He's right at the top. If he's not the highest, he's right at the top. Because I know over with Arch Manning over in Texas, he's up there too. So I don't know whether he surpassed him. So he's right at the top. I don't know anybody that's severely overpaid than him, but he's right there because the rest of them was probably around that $6 or $7 million.
Right. According to this CBS Sports, he received a deal from Duke that is believed to pay him $8 million over 2 years, $4 million annual. That's average.
$4 million, but I think he's going to get more than that.
But at Miami, he's going to get much more than that because he wouldn't have took the risk to leave. All right,
he might double that. He's probably going to double that. DC, he might double that.
Well, there was rumors that their 10 million number was swirling around. I would find that hard for them to pay him that, but
we don't know with that talent and his. And he's young and he's smart too, man. For him to want to come to a team like Miami, who just embarked off a championship run, and then have a good offensive coordinator like Shannon Dawson to open up for him, and not only that, coming to a nice city like Miami, it's just so many things that's positive about this move he made, man. And as young as he is, he could stay here for many years and just make all the money and win some championships. Because if he played like he played last year under this offensive coordinator and the talent that's coming back, I don't see nobody beating him, man. I really don't see who will beat them. If you just think about his level of play at Duke, bring him here under Shannon Dawson's care in that playbook that he got, the defense is going to be looking like, damn, what they going to run then? They're going to be so tired, man. They throw a ball on them and then run that ball with all those crushing brutal running backs we got in that backfield over there.
They got some dogs.
Oh, man.
And by the way, that youngster who said he was going to leave, he's not leaving.
He ain't going nowhere. Nowhere. They talked him in the stand. I didn't want to see him leave, man, because I thought he had them paid his dues here to get a lot of more playing time next year. So don't go nowhere, man. This is your spot. You're going to win a national championship here. Don't go nowhere. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so here's what I got right now. The Miami Hurricanes schedule for next year, and I was talking to you about this last night. Remember?
Yeah.
Looks like they open with Stanford. Do you see that one as a win?
Damn right. We're gonna get them a good whooping.
You can give them a good whooping.
Crazy? Yeah.
Okay.
Michael Learn will have on a leather belt, beating down some type of garbage can or water, but
mascot, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Cardinal. So the second game is Florida A&M. That's a gimme, right?
Yeah. Well, everybody gonna play. Everybody gonna play. Everybody playing. Everybody.
Right. Wake Forest comes to town September 18th. Or actually, let me rephrase that. We go to Wake Forest. The University of Miami will travel to Wake Forest on September 18th.
Yeah.
Is that a win?
Yeah. Well, they're going to get a good whooping.
Okay.
Michael Irvin, bring out your belt.
Okay, so September 26th, it looks like Central Michigan is traveling to Miami.
They're getting a good whooping.
Okay. October 3rd, which is a very big showdown, I think, is
The
at
Florida State
Clemson.
sound like.
At
Oh, okay,
Clemson.
Clemson.
Dabo Swinney.
Oh, we got Dabo. You in some serious trouble. Serious. You don't know how to go in the portal and get players, and you whining about everybody else. You getting a good whooping. I can't wait. And he
Okay.
gonna be on that chopping block soon because he don't know how to get in the portal and make it happen.
So they should be 5-0 before they end up meeting Florida State on October 17th
Hey, DC,
at home.
man, listen. All of my classmates gonna be quiet. Oh man, I can hear crickets. Like last year, they were so quiet, man. They were quiet. They ain't say nothing. All them Florida State Seminoles up there in that panhandle, man. They was quiet.
Okay. So let's move to the next one. After Florida State, they should technically still be undefeated. University of Pittsburgh comes to town.
Yeah, we owe them. We owe Pittsburgh.
So they should be 6-0, right?
Yep.
So they got to go see Dollar Bill Belichick.
Oh, we gonna mock Dollar Bill
on October 31st, Halloween.
I'm gonna get one of my boys from the Canes and take his girlfriend. Take that little young girl he messing around with.
On a more serious note, here's the massive showdown, and I think this is the biggest game of the year for them. Is Notre Dame, and Marcus Freeman has already said that Miami's been circled on their calendar. Is that bulletin board material that Miami could use?
Yeah, I mean, we need to get psyched up and hyped because Marcus Freeman, man, I mean, I love him to death as a coach, but he was acting like a wuss at the end of the season, man. He was crying like a little girl. And I don't think he was going to do that, man.
Marcus Freeman, I don't think he was crying specifically at Miami. He was just saying, I think he had a valid point to say Alabama had no business in it.
No, Alabama had, listen, man.
Yeah.
Alabama had absolutely no business being there.
That's where I think most of his gripe came from. At least that's what I'm going to take on my shoulders and say.
Well, the thing that I'm saying to you is the fact that he didn't let his kids play in that bowl game, man. He opted out the bowl game because he was disgruntled about them not being in the playoff. I think that's wrong, man, because you think about this. You allowed your kids to play their season out and not be validated with a bowl game and to, hug and to embrace themselves and let the seniors walk out of here with a bowl game win. And he didn't do that, man. That's the part I'm talking about. Yeah, you shortchange your kids, man. That's what he did.
I'm not just going to put this on Marcus Freeman's shoulders about that decision. I think it fell on the AD's shoulders as well. Pete Bavacqua probably was behind some of it too. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that he was probably equally as upset because he did make some public statements that he wasn't happy with the way that committee handled that.
Remember something. Listen to me. I was upset for them because I didn't think Alabama needed to be there with no 3 losses. Remember that? But I do know they didn't let those kids play in the bowl game. Whoever whomever made that decision for them kids not to play their last game, they're wrong. They did them kids an injustice, man.
Right.
That's wrong.
So after Miami finishes Notre Dame, which we expect to happen, they're going to go up there and they're going to beat them in South Bend. They play Duke at home. So Mensah.
Oh, we're going to give these guys a good whooping.
Old team.
Yes, we're going to run the score up on them. Manny Diaz, you better get ready for it, man. I'm going to give you coffee and leche.
So do you think James Franklin has any chance at all when Virginia Tech comes to town next to the last game on November 20th?
Man, he gonna get a good whooping, man. We're gonna polish them guys off. Man. The University of Miami is going undefeated.
We're gonna dust them off.
They're gonna dust off everybody and they're gonna win the national championship. You guys better hear this. This is January 31st, 2026. Remember I said it.
You know what? I'm going to make sure that everybody knows, too, when that happens. We'll replay this segment of the video like we did when you predicted that Miami was going to make it to the national
Yep.
championship. By the
Mm-hmm.
way,
I said
Isaiah
it.
predicted that Miami
Yep.
would make it to the national
This
championship,
year,
so he
and we
deserves a
did
lot
it.
of credit for that, I think,
Yeah, I
right?
didn't say we was going to win. I said we were
We
going,
were going,
and
right,
that was before they played any snap, before the season even started.
exactly.
Yep.
So it looks like they closed the season out with Boston College
Mm-hmm.
at home. So looking at the schedule, man, I only see one particular situation on there that they could be challenged on, and that will be up in South Bend. I don't see Clemson because I'm like you, Dabo Sweeney.
You
He
don't
has
have a
let
chance.
that program dip to a level by
You don't have
not
a chance.
adjusting and not getting acclimated with the new
And he's
way
firing folks on his staff, DC. You forgot
and
about
firing
that.
people, of
Firing
course.
people
Yeah,
because he's incompetent now. So he's running
right.
off perimeter, little clipping people around in his coaching staff instead of him just taking the heat himself. Yeah,
Well, he gonna
sucker.
learn. He gonna learn the hard way, one way
Can't
or
stand
another.
Dabo.
It's all what you put on that football field. That product is what matters. And if you don't have a good product to put on that field, they don't care what you've done 5 years
Wow.
ago. They don't care what you've done
Mm-hmm.
6 years ago. They
Yeah,
care what you're doing every season. And
currently.
this is the first time they faced Clemson. Miami has faced Clemson in several years in the
Mm-hmm.
regular season, because I know they
Yeah,
used to, go back and forth with Clemson every year,
yeah.
swapping out. Yeah. So we're excited about Miami's chances. Welcome Cooper Barkay, welcome Darian Mensah, and all of the other
Oh,
transfers,
we
because
got some guys
we
from
got a
Florida State
defensive
too.
lineman
Yeah,
that's transferring, and he's just gonna slot right in where Ruben Bain leaves.
yeah.
That whole Ruben Bain leaves out. So I know
Man, I
Jason
want to read
Taylor is
Ruben.
happy.
I didn't even know Ruben Bain was a junior, man. I thought he was a senior, but he just leaving early. But I
I
thought he
think
was a senior.
he's declaring
Yeah,
to come out,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Mm-hmm. I wish he was staying because he goes get. I think he will get more money if he stayed because that NIL money more than that rookie contract money.
Yeah, but I would think that, he's thinking about maybe the future of his
Yeah,
career, and he don't want to put his future at
jeopardize. Yeah,
risk staying an
mm-hmm.
extra year. And
Yeah.
I couldn't blame him if he's thinking that way. Him nor any of the other Miami players that are
Yeah.
thinking that way.
I
But
tell
we're
you
getting
one thing, them Indiana players weren't thinking that way. We're having them antique blue tags on their team, 26 and 27-year-old players that Indiana had on their damn team. Guy with damn goatees that's gray and freaking gray hairs coming out of their nose playing against our team. But that's all right. That ain't no excuse now. We just lost the game. But I'm just telling you how old them guys were. They supposed to have been in the NFL 4 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, so we've added some really good players coming into the U, and I know Mario Cristobal is really happy
He
about
got to be
the
real, man. I
outcome. He
can't wait
wasn't
to talk
happy
to
with
him.
that last game that they lost, but he'll be happy in the future, because I can tell you
Yeah.
he's got the horses now to win, and to win big. I think he has it. He was over at Miami Springs last week,
Yeah, he was over at Spain. Yeah, I seen him over
and he
at
was over at
Spain.
Miami Springs. He's making his
Yeah.
rounds down in South Florida, and it's just going to only get better. It's going to only get better. So let's move on to the next topic, and let's talk a little bit about, we're going to move over into the NFL now and talk a little bit about the NFL. Looks like Kwasi Mensah got fired from the Minnesota Vikings. Kwasi Mensah was the general manager for Minnesota. He came in right around, I believe, the same time that Kevin O'Connell, who's the current head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, came in. I don't know why Ziggy Wilf and his brother decided to part ways with him. I thought he was a pretty decent general manager. I thought he brought some decent talent up in there. But you never can be in the minds of these owners, correct?
No, man. Mm-mm.
I guess they figured it was time to do it.
Yeah, what a good example. What you're saying is by being the mind of these folks, because even here in Miami, I didn't think Stephen Ross was going to go to the degree he's went, but man, I'm gonna sit back and watch now. DC, he might have him a little something right here because he got a young staff now, and these guys are proven winners. So, and they're buddies and they're connected, and I'm gonna see if they're gonna come in here and turn things around. because this guy is not attached to anybody. This new head coach has clipped everybody, man. He's going to bring everything spot new. And he's not going to have none of that old dirt hanging around on the floors in there. He's getting ready to clean house and bring everybody brand spanking new in there. So when he get his ass whooped, he can't blame nobody either. So that's what I like about it. He's going to take the brunt of it all by himself. He don't want no old attachment, and including some of these players. So I'm gonna see if he's gonna will and deal Tua off here too. I don't think he's gonna start anyway, but let's see if we can get anything out of him.
Yeah, he might be able to, muster up something.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I think it's going to be kind of difficult being that contract is so steep that Tua has, and his injuries are so prevalent. He has been getting injured so many times, and I don't know anybody want to absorb that big, huge contract that he has. Yeah.
So I want to repronounce the general manager's name at least the ex-general manager for the Viking. His name is Kwesi Adolfo Mensah.
Okay, Kwesi.
Not
like Kwesi.
Kwesi or whatever. Okay. Did I pronounce earlier?
Yeah,
I'm constantly trying to up my game with pronunciation with people's names because sometimes I do get it mixed up. So I apologize to him for that. Hopefully,
he mispronounced his own damn name. DC, what you don't even apologizing for that. He mispronounced his own name sometimes.
That's one thing is for sure is we gonna give people props on this show, and looks like I pulled up some of his information here. He's been in the NFL 2013 to 2016. He was manager of football research and development for the San Francisco 49ers. 2017 to 2019, director of football research and development. And he was the vice president of football operations at the Cleveland Browns before he took that job in Minnesota. And then he took that job in Minnesota as the general manager. And like I say, him and Kevin O'Connell came in at the same time. Kevin O'Connell, I think he worked under Sean McVay. I want Kevin O'Connell at least to be successful at Minnesota because he's a really talented young coach. And he's one of McVay's proteges. Wherever these guys go, they tend to be successful. So anyway, last but not least, let's talk a little bit about Coach Prime, Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders has implemented a new procedure where he's going to fine his players for being late to meetings or not showing up to practice or meetings. What do you think about that?
Well, listen, man. Prime just trying to make those guys be held accountable for their actions. That's all that really is, man. Because if you're a player and you got your act together, none of that stuff is going to make no difference to you if you got yourself together. But on the second, you got guys who's slacking, guys who's messing up, guys not coming on time. Those are guys you don't want on a damn team anyway. So, man, if you're going to abide by the rules, you got nothing to worry about. And Prime just trying to make note of it, man. And he's not going to take no shorts because at some time you got to set some standards, man, because otherwise that distraction, because that's what it is, it'll throw you off. It'll throw you off. If you got a tight-knit schedule, we're going to have a meeting at 1 o'clock. You get there at 1:45. You got to worry about being fine, man. At some point, you got to do something right because that little small type of stuff that he's doing right now can build character in a player, man. Get this guy in here on time. He's learning what he's supposed to do. He's doing his job. And you go there and do your job on Saturday nights because that's what it's all about is the win. And you got to start somewhere. And by him making note and putting that thing out there right now, guys already know what the deal is. When you come to practice, you just be on time. Come to a meeting, you go on time. And Deion ain't just stopping right there. He's talking about classroom activity too. A lot of these kids are on Deion's team, they're graduating, man. They're not just going to school and going through emotions and walk out of there without no paper in their hand. These guys are graduating and moving on to being successful gentlemen. And that's what it's all about, really. When it's all said and done, that's what it's all about. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to play devil's advocate here because a lot of people are not happy with that. They're not happy with it because they think he's kind of overcompensating for, something that these are college students. These, even though some of them are getting paid big money now, like they didn't get paid back in the day.
And the reason why he's doing it because they can afford it.
So let me ask you this: how do you blur the lines between professional sports, because that's what they do in professional sports? They find players. They find players for being late. They find players for missing practice. What I mean, and this is one of the first programs this has went public because the school is backing Coach Prime. They're saying that, look, he has the right to do it, at least from what the allegations and for what I read from the information from the internet. Let me break down some of the charges here. Every time they're late for something, it's a $500 fine.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those fines include a $2,500 fine for missing practice, $500 for being late, a $2,000 fine for missing a team meeting or film session, and a $5,000 fine for public or social misconduct. There's a lot of people not happy with that. I mean, how can Coach Prime justify that type of discipline when you got players moving all over the freaking place anyway? All they did, you find one, he's gone. So you just keep going in and out of the portal, right, to get another one to bring them in there. I'm playing devil's advocate here for you.
Go right ahead. Just listen to me, man. There's no logically thinking kid gonna boast out to another college because Deion fined them $500. They're not doing it. They're not. $500 to a guy who's making millions of dollars is peanuts. They're not leaving his team for a $500 fine. They would probably laugh at Prime for fining them for $500, man. I don't think that's a big significant amount of money when a guy who's making millions of dollars. You can go out to take your girlfriend out to dinner and spend that, and you're a $5 million man. They're not doing it. But then what I'm telling you is if you got a certain degree of standard and self-belief in yourself, you're not coming to practice late. None of this stuff is not going to mean anything because, first of all, you're not going to be late. You're not skipping no damn film sessions. You're not coming to practice late. Come on, man. The people need to mind their business. When Deion was out there getting his rear end handed to him, he had a problem with that. Now he want to get these guys in a structure because that's what he's doing. He's trying to structure these guys, give them a structure where they can't be dragging in there any kind of way. And this ain't just happened. I've been listening to some of his segments where he have a team meeting, and this is even back in the day when he was coaching over at Jackson State. He didn't remember this, DC, and you remember this now. Mm-hmm. Remember that he didn't let his son play in one of the championship games because he showed up not late. It was close to the 1 o'clock mark, and he came in there like 5 minutes to 1. And he's you're not playing, and that was his son.
I remember that.
So,
but
that's my point. That's my point. And it devastated his son.
That you're breaking down here, but let me just say this: in that amount of money that you just stated, that they'll laugh at a $500, $2,500, or $5,000 fine. Everybody is on that roster is not making that kind of money.
Okay.
So how does it? Let me ask you this:
but that means they're not going to break the rules.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you from this angle. You got a Colorado player, and I'm going to just throw a number out there. He's making $80,000 in NIL a year. And let's just say whatever the situation was, he gets fined for $5,000 or $2,500 or even $500. That can hurt his pocket.
He got $75,000 to spend. And he's going to get Deion $5,000 if he's running his ass in there late. Yeah. And that's one thing he's got to be mindful of. He's not making no $5 million a year, so he's going to abide by the rules. That's what's getting ready to happen.
He's either abide by the rules or he's going to jump in the portal, because if I don't, for example, if it's you or me and we don't like it, we'll jump in the portal, right? We don't need to be there. I could go to
Dude, I
University
am
of
not.
Miami. Mario Cristobal is not going to fine me no $5,000 for being late or not
That's
showing
not
up.
guaranteed, DC. Now, listen to me. That is not guaranteed. So listen to this. The level of talent that Colorado have is not the same as Miami. You're
That is
not
true.
jumping.
Now that
Hang
is true.
on, let me finish. Let me finish. You're not jumping in no portal to come to Miami where you're gonna sit the damn bench when you a starter for Deion. So you're gonna jump the portal for $5,000 fine, come down to Miami, and you're gonna sit the bench
I just
because he
use
finds you.
but I just use Miami as an example. Here's the thing. There's 300 plus universities that's in the system in the NCAA. They don't necessarily have to go to Miami. I just threw Miami's name out there. They could go to a variety of schools and start. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Listen to me, DC. Listen, to be honest with you, it shouldn't be about the money. If my coach, hang on, if my coach either bench me or fine me for something that I did wrong, why am I running to jump off in the portal? I'm leaving my team because I did something wrong.
Because that's the way people operate now. That's the way they operate.
Listen to me now. I'm going to tell you how Deion is. Listen to me. I'm going to tell you how Deion is. Deion will help them move. Oh, if you want to, he's going to help them type of players. He don't want them kind of guys on his team, man.
Correct.
Okay.
And this was all devil's advocacy because I don't have a problem with him finding the players. However, it's a lot of people out there that's going to have a problem with that, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be more. It ain't over till the fat lady sings.
What's the difference between Deion finding them or one of the former basketball coaches at Indiana throwing a chair down the damn court?
Well, that was back in the 80s.
And so
it's still a different world now.
It's still a coaching philosophy. It's still the same way.
Coaching philosophy, but it wouldn't work now.
Okay. Yeah, and then Deion is doing the same thing.
He throw a chair down the court now. He'd be in jail.
In that back pocket. He's finding them. He's finding them. He's going to get them off his team if they don't want to be on the team. Listen, these kids going to abide by the rules if they want to be on the team. Period.
I don't have a problem with what he's doing. I'm just trying to tell you, I'm speaking from a devil's advocate standpoint of view that there's people out there and they laying in the cut for him right now about this particular situation of imposing these type of penalties. So I'm just telling you what potentially could be. But you know how much I respect and how much I support Coach Prime. I am a Coach Prime believer from day one. When he first touched the football at Florida State, out of Fort Myers, Florida, we know how he operates. We go way back with Coach Prime, and we have the utmost respect for Coach Prime. I know I do, and I know you do. So I just wanted to bring that up.
I think it's going to work out. Those guys going to abide by his rules, and they ain't got to worry about being fined.
We'll find out one way or another.
Yeah, but the people who's in his business need to get a life. They need to go somewhere and sit down because he's doing what he think is best for his club.
Here's one major golden nugget right here that I'm gonna place in front of you and put it on the table in front of you. Coach Prime he's got to win, man. He's got to win this year. I mean, they're running out of patience anyway. I mean, they're still sold out. I think they're sold out with season tickets for the next several years at Colorado. They got a new athletic director there. He's already lended his, unrelented support for Coach Prime. He's behind Coach Prime, but at the end of the day, this year, whether he's finding these players or whoever he's getting out of the portal to bring in there, they're going to have to put a better product onto the field. And that's just the bottom line. I'm just leaving it out there for you to marinate with that.
That better product start with discipline.
It does.
And that's what he's getting ready to acquire, some disciplined players. When he's putting all that stuff out, it's going to make these guys have a certain degree of structure, man. That disciplinary type of stuff right there going to get these guys in line, man, because I watched his team make some costly mistakes throughout the season that cost these guys games. And so what he's doing is he's getting this stuff in order. That's all he's doing. And people don't like the way he's conducting business. Let them guys go on about their business. Don't watch him then. Don't watch him. Don't watch him if you don't like what he's doing over there. I think he's doing a damn good job, even though he got his ass handed to him several times last year.
Oh, he got it handed to him for sure.
But he's got to start somewhere to straighten it out. And that's what he's doing, man. And Deion went through a bunch of crises last year. He was sick part of the season. He was sick in the off season, and he was landed in the hospital and had all kind of really personal situations happening in his life. And now he's still coaching. Most of these people would have just tucked their tail and ran away, especially if you rich as he is. They would have just said, forget it. I don't need this no more. But he's still out there, man. He's doing something he loves. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll see this year. He's still in the Big 12. They still got to play the likes of Utah and Brigham Young and all those other schools. And until he can get over that hump to beat those type of schools, other people are going to always have something to say about that.
Yeah, I'm saying they say things about everybody, so no big deal.
All right. Last but not least, the NFL Pro Bowl is a joke. Let me repeat that. The NFL Pro Bowl has become a joke. And the reason it's become a joke, I blame and I hold personally responsible for it is Roger Goodell.
Yeah.
Roger Goodell is behind literally destroying the Pro Bowl structure for the NFL. And I'm really emotional about it because I went to 3 straight Pro Bowls back in the early 2000s. And man, you just didn't know how much I enjoyed life. You remember I would call you when they were getting ready to kick off at a Honolulu station, Aloha State Stadium, when they were getting ready to kick off and during the game. The Pro Bowl has ventured into it's just not even watchable now. Explain to me what you think happened with the Pro Bowl. What happened with the Pro Bowl, man?
Well, it was been mismanaged. And if you don't have the families involved like it used to be, where it was like a vacation, it was a fun thing to watch, just let them play. Let them play just the way they would do in the NFL game. Allow these people to bring their families over there because it was just great to watch, to see the diversity of the game. The helmets from the Dolphins, the helmets of New England, all the mixed of the Pittsburgh, all these helmets mixed up. It was nice to see that. And then people used to work their rear ends off just to make it because it was this thing. When I made it to the Pro Bowl, it was some accolades that was attached to it. But now it's people just really, if you didn't make it to a Super Bowl run or in the playoff, deep in the playoff, they just was, gratified for the season to be over, where they could go on vacation themselves and enjoy their family. But I liked it because it was a moment where football season had wind down, the Super Bowl and all that stuff had wind down, and ultimately all the games was played, including the Super Bowl. So you got the guys who was just won the Super Bowl, their players had an opportunity to play in the Pro Bowl. But they turned it around where they was playing the damn Pro Bowl before the Super Bowl was over. So it was like you got punished to be in the Super Bowl. And you can't play in the Pro Bowl. So all of those weird decisions kind of screwed it up in time. It was just one bad decision after the other that watered it down where it's not even watchable. But what I think they should do is have it in a nice place like Honolulu, like they used to have it. Let these players go out there and play ball just like they do without these little girl type of things where they pull a snatch rag and all that garbage. Let them go out there and enjoy themselves, man, because I think more so in any time you're not doing something that you're accustomed to, you prone to have more injury than doing because you're letting up and you're not going full speed. That's when you get injured. So I think they need to get it back to Honolulu, get the players there, the ones who made it, and make it tangible where they're going to enjoy it, have all these different activities they can do, family-oriented type of stuff, and then just have a good time, because it was a great thing to watch after football, because then you got nothing left in the NFL and you're going to start switching over to basketball because your season is done. So, yeah.
So here's a little bit of more context for the NFL Pro Bowl. I just pulled it up. It looks like it existed for 87 years to this
Wow.
point, dating
Hmm.
back to his inception at the All-Star game in January of 1939.
Wow, man.
Technically, it was officially deemed a Pro Bowl in 1951. The league has held all-star exhibitions featuring top players in most of its history. Hawaii, mainly the initial games were from 1939 to 1942, and the All-Star game, that's special. That's not this game is not shouldn't be treated as a joke. This
Yeah.
game was special because this was showing the
The
accomplishments
best of the best. That's what
of
it
the
was,
best of the
DC.
best from
Yeah.
each
Yeah.
team, or however
Yeah.
many players came from
Yeah.
specific
Hmm.
teams.
Hmm.
But for them to be able to, at the end of the year, and like you say, timing was one of the factors, I think. Timing, with, playing it before the Super Bowl instead of after the Super
Dumb,
Bowl.
dumb, dumb
Then
decision.
a lot of players decided that, look, we don't want to play in it because we're worried about injury. I did some homework and research, and it looks like Robert Edwards was one of the few players to sustain a massive injury in that Pro Bowl game over the history of the Pro Bowl, because I wanted to try to dig in. And so they say it's a safety issue. Okay, if it's a safety issue, like you say, if you go in half speed, that's a problem because that's when you can get hurt. If you go in full speed, and I'll give you a first example of the Pro Bowl that I went to, and I believe it was back in mid 2000, right around 2004, 2005. They took the first snap. Michael Vick was the quarterback on the NFC team for Philadelphia.
Hmm.
And they took the first snap, and Adrian Peterson was supposed to take the handoff and run through the hole with it,
Hmm.
full speed, and they went half speed and they stopped. And
Yeah.
everybody turned and looked at each other and like, what the F are these guys doing? You run a play, you don't stop a play. When you hand the ball off, you keep running, and the defensive line, they stopped. Everybody stopped. So it kind of was a fracture in the integrity of what was going on the field at the time, because you
Mhm.
remember back in the 80s, Ronnie Lott and all those guys and
Yeah.
all of
They
the
had
people that
trophies.
played in
Yeah.
those games in the 80s, they
That's
went
trophy
full
back
speed.
then. Yeah, they
They
went
went
full
full
speed.
speed. They didn't play
Yeah.
around and
Mhm.
treat it as though
Yeah.
it was something
It
ginger
was
that they needed
fun.
to
It was
protect
fun. You just
themselves.
think about Andre Rison and the Deions and all of them used to go at it back and forth. It was a great thing to watch, man, because that way you're not trying to do something for your team. You're doing something for your division. And it was nice to see the mix up and the diversity of the teams, man. And then you was almost laughed at if you didn't make it to the Pro Bowl. You was like, man, you didn't
Exactly.
even make it to the Pro Bowl. Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
was blessed enough, here's another thing too. I was blessed enough to watch Coach Prime coach the new format of the Pro Bowl
Yeah.
before it left
Yeah.
Hawaii
Yeah.
against
Yeah.
Jerry Rice.
Yeah, I
And
remember
that's
that.
when I knew Coach Prime had talent to
As
coach,
a
because
coach, yeah.
he was dead serious. He was not playing around. He wanted to win that game. He wanted his players to play hard. He wanted them to play relentless. And that was the newer format. And then they eventually left Honolulu, because here's the thing with
Mhm.
Honolulu. The city of Honolulu was supposed to upgrade Aloha Stadium. I guess there was some disagreements with whether the stadium was going to get upgraded or whether they were going to tear it down and build a new stadium, because that stadium had been there for
Yeah.
decades and decades. So it was an old stadium, more like the Orange Bowl was. And once they couldn't come to an agreement with that, the NFL just said, look, we'd rather have the game on the mainland anyway, in a place like Florida. They played in several different places on the mainland before they settled on Orlando, Florida as being the
Mhm.
landing spot for the Pro Bowl. Now, this upcoming Pro Bowl is coming on Tuesday, this upcoming Tuesday. Shedeur Sanders was invited to the game, and that's created a lot of conversation on the internet as to why was he invited as an alternate, him and Joe Flacco. So I'm not going to just say Shedeur Sanders. Do you think these two players should have been invited to the current Pro Bowl as we see it?
Yes. because what they're doing is they trying to put the most popular person there. Because Shedeur, whether you like him or not, he's popular, man. His
True.
jersey is sold the most out of this year. I mean, listen, man, Shedeur is a brand, and that brand going to bring some eyeballs and some BBLs to
To the
that
seats.
stadium. So it's just no question about it is the reason why he's there. Some folks think he didn't even play enough games. He don't even have the type of stats to get there. But when it comes to the popularity of the player, he deserves to be there because he's the face of the NFL. Now, I'm not saying the
At least he's
primary
one of
face,
the
but
faces of the
he
NFL.
is. There's
Yeah.
no question about it, DC. Otherwise, his jersey won't be the top seller. So he's got a huge following. And that's what people got to realize. And they always throwing these rocks at the Sanders family. But man, people like me and you and other folks that really adore what they're doing over there, man. DC, people love them, man. Whether it's
Absolutely.
Deion or his two sons or his three sons, because his oldest son is in the background and he's the brain behind a lot of the marketing of the Deion Sanders family. So I think they're doing a superb job, man. I don't care what anybody say. I know they're doing a superb job, and they're making money and they're enjoying life. And people are jealous, the ones who speaking negative about them, because what they're doing is living a good life and understanding they're young and they're got opportunity and they capitalizing on these opportunities that they have in front of them. That's it.
So I have one additional question for you. Do you think the NFL, if they made any effort at the time to keep the Pro Bowl in its den format instead of watering it down, because that's all they've done now is watered it down
Yeah.
into flag football?
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I have a problem because it's not a formidable vacation to go to Orlando versus going to
No,
Honolulu.
it's not.
Honolulu,
And
Hawaii is
that's
out
the
in the
reason
middle of the
why I
ocean
said, yeah, that's what make it more intriguing to go
and
there.
more
'Cause
attractive, right?
it is. You
So
got the
I
water
thought
there. You got the beautiful
Roger
food. You got
Goodell
all
should have
kind of stuff.
worked harder, which he didn't care, of course. Obviously, it didn't even concern him or any of the executives in the NFL. That leaving Hawaii was going to just take away a lot of credibility from the game because it did over time. And now look at what we got. I wouldn't watch the Pro Bowl. I don't watch it.
It's
I don't
cheap.
watch it.
It's cheap, man,
Yeah.
and
And
it's
they
cheap.
look bad against
Yeah.
Major League Baseball and the NBA, even though the NBA, we've talked about that with Najee about the NBA's All-Star game is taking some hits too. But at
Not
least
like
in the
this.
NBA, they're still playing an All-Star game in the
Yeah.
same format. They didn't change it
Mhm.
up too much
No.
like the
No.
NFL did, right?
No. The NBA is okay. I mean, you got the things that's changed, traditions changed a little bit, but the viewership is really
Still
not
there.
that bad. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So where does the NFL go from here with the Pro Bowl? Are they just going to continue down that same road and not
They gotta,
change?
well, it'll phase it out altogether.
I think
They'll
that's
phase it
what's
out.
coming
That's exactly
because
what
they're
will
not
happen
going to have
because
people watching it on TV.
no, they
They're not going
won't.
to
I
have the
mean,
viewership.
no, they need to get back to where they were, and that'll make folks get interested in it. Right now,
I
they're
think they
not.
too far gone. I don't think it's coming
No, they're
back.
not. No,
I think they
they're
too
not.
far gone.
No, they're not. All they're gonna do is put it back over in Hawaii and get the players that who made their good year and had a great season and put them in there, and it'll be okay. They can rekindle a relationship with the fans if they do that. Otherwise, they're gonna be in a heap of trouble. But they can't be playing flag football because I can go out there and wash my cars instead of watching the game at that rate.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I mean, that was the traditional home for the NFL Pro Bowl forever. I mean, I've seen the likes of Chris Mortensen on the flight going over to Honolulu that weekend. I saw Irving Fryer one time on the flight going over to the Pro Bowl that weekend. I've seen quite a few athletes, you know, Orlando
Yeah.
Pace. I don't know whether you remember him. He used to be an
I remember.
offensive lineman for the
Yeah.
Rams. He played
Hmm.
at Ohio State.
Yeah.
And it was just such a phenomenal thing to be able to get on that flight, fly over there. most of the players stayed in the Sheraton Waikiki. That was generally where most of them stayed during the week. All the weekly events, I mean, throughout from Monday all the way up until that Saturday. And then they had like a big thing on Saturday night, a Pro Bowl party over in Waikiki. It was just fantastic. But now look where it's at. So anyway. All right. Well, we'll close this show out. We had a really good show tonight. We thank everybody for joining us. We're going to be having another show on Monday morning, and we're going to have a radio show on top of that. And we had our first radio show, and we've gotten a lot of good feedback on that. You know, and we're just going to keep bringing it to you live. Every time we come on, we giving you our everything. So, you got anything to close us out with, Isaiah, tonight?
You know it. I just want to thank everybody. We're doing something that we enjoy and having a good time doing it. And you guys tell your friends, your family, your coworkers that we're on, man. Having a good time. So have a pleasant weekend, and you guys be safe and stay warm because it's cold all over the country. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been warm here. I mean, just to give you a heads up today, it was kind of like summer. I had to end up turning on the air conditioner instead of just sitting in here in this heat. So it's a really strange weather around the country and around the world. Yeah. And we just hope it gets better at some point in time for everybody. But in the meantime, you're watching the DC Stewart Show Podcast live with my kinfolks, Isaiah. We're going to be rejoining on Monday, and we'll be talking about some NBA news because there is some interesting NBA news with Giannis that's out there about his possible trade to the New York Knicks. We're going to cover some of that. And some of the other things, Paul George, according to ESPN, just been suspended about, violating the league rule, and we'll bring that to you on Monday. So anyway, take care of yourself, take care of your spirits, take care of your physical health, help someone around you if they need help. And always come back to see us. We appreciate everything. Take it easy. Peace, love, and prosperity. Take it easy.